DTN302 Assessment 3 Amira's Case Study. Iraqi cuisine has a long history going back 10,000 years to the Sumerians, Akkadians, Babylonians, Assyrians, and ancient Persians. Tablets found in the ruins left by these ancient peoples show recipes prepared in the temples during religious festivals, in reality the first cookbooks in the world. Iraq, the Mesopotamia of the ancients, was home to many dazzling and sophisticated civilizations, highly advanced in their times, in all fields of knowledge, including the culinary arts. However, it was the medieval era when Baghdad was the capital of a large Muslim empire that the Iraqi kitchen reached its zenith. However, after the destruction of the Baghdad by the Mongolians in 1258 AD, this world-class cuisine declined, but was somewhat revived in the last century by the commercial and cultural interactions within the countries of the Mediterranean area and the world beyond. Today, the foods of Iraq reflect this rich inheritance as well as strong influences from the culinary traditions of Turkey and Iran and the Greater Syria area. Because of all these traditions and complex influences, Iraqi cuisine is enormously rich and varied. Iraqi staple foods include beans, rice, wheat, bulgur, a mix of wheat derivatives, and dates, commonly the first thing eaten during Ramadan along with yogurt, soup, and water, are common staple foods of Iraq. Other common additions to foods including condiments as well as herbs and spices are amber, mango pickle condiment, baharat, jalab, marleb, dibis, rosewater, tahini, za'atar. Key food preparation and cooking methods include grilling, stewing, baking, and boiling. The Iraq cuisine is influenced by religion. The largest religion in Iraq is Muslim. Therefore, there is a strong avoidance of pork and alcohol within the Iraqi cuisine. During Ramadan, Muslims rise before dawn to eat a meal called sahur. Foods containing grains and seeds along with dates and bananas are commonly eaten because they are considered slow to digest. This helps to ease hunger during the fast, which can be as long as 16 hours in the summer. At sunset, the day's fast is broken with a fita, a meal that traditionally starts with eating a date. According to the FAO website, 9.5 million hectares of land is actually suitable for agriculture in Iraq. Iraq's main food export is dates. This graph shows a comparison between Australia and Iraq in exports of dates. Iraq is obviously the larger exporter of dates between the two. Iraq is highly dependent on food imports and, on average, about 70% of wheat and almost 90% of rice consumption is imported. Outside of the youth and consumer-ready segments, frozen beef, frozen chicken, lentils, chickpeas, confectionery, apples look to hold good prospects for importers. This graph shows rice consumption between Australia and Iraq. Iraq's consumption of rice is well above that of Australia's. This graph shows the production of rice in Australia and Iraq. Although rice is more of a staple in Iraq, Australia is a larger producer. The war in Iraq began in 2003 and is the main reason for the large increase in immigration from Iraq. According to Home Affairs Australia, at the end of June 2014, 63,860 born people were living in Australia, 38% more than as at 30th of June 2006. This is equivalent to 1% of Australia's overseas-born population and 0.3% of Australia's total population. 2015, there were 3,258 Iraq-born people migrating permanently to Australia. From 2011 to 2015, there was an average increase in permanent migrants to Australia of 29.3%. Add a Little Lemon is a blog by Sarah Lena Ahmad. The blog encourages Iraq cuisine in Australia. Social media platforms such as Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest allow for Iraq foods to be viewed by the Australian population that access these platforms. This in turn allows for an interest into the Iraq cuisine among the Australian population. According to the Zomato website, there are 364 restaurants that are of Middle Eastern cuisine in Melbourne. This shows that there is in fact strong presence of Middle Eastern cuisine in Melbourne. Additionally, access to Middle Eastern cooking schools, online Middle Eastern grocery delivery and restaurants locations is widely accessible by businesses such as Oasis. Here is a list of references used for this presentation.